Boxing fans, it's Aztec 101 in the ring. I want to talk about Kieth Thurman. Yesterday it was pretty obvious to me that Kieth Thurman has a target on his back. There's fighters coming out the woodwork right now mentioning his name, trying to get their hands on those two titles that he has. And for good reason, definitely bargaining chips in the negotiation tables. The reason why I want to talk about this is because it's interesting to me. Just a few years ago, I would say 3 years ago, it was very difficult for Kieth Thurman to find a fight, to find an opponent that was where the name was worthy enough where you could say, hey, Kieth Thurman beat a guy, and it was just difficult to get some of these high-level top names in the division to actually risk getting in the ring with Kieth Thurman. Kieth, one-time Thurman, earned his name, right, as one-time. It's pretty obvious that he's a powerful puncher, and he got himself 2 titles. That's right now his leverage. He doesn't make. I wouldn't say that he generates more revenue, as in there's more fans now than there were 3 years ago. So it's not his fan base. It's not how popular he is. The reason why other fighters want to fight him, it's because of the titles that he has, right? Which kind of speaks on how Kieth Thurman being on top is positive for the sport of boxing, because the fighters are now looking at the titles rather than the paycheck. And at welterweight, it's very, very important to do that because all eyes are on those fighters. It's probably one of the more, other than heavyweight historically, but right now, heavyweight division is not. It's not generating the same amount of attention that it used to. So you can't really go based on history, right? History would show that heavyweight division should be popular, but it's not. It's not popping right now. The division that's hot is the welterweight division. Every now and then you get fights at middleweight. You got Canelo and Triple G, but to be honest, the guys at welterweight are going to carry the sport. I think those are going to be the names that most casual boxing fans are going to watch, right? It's the division that Floyd Mayweather left, and it's the division that right now Kieth Thurman is inheriting. So as being the number one guy, he's getting all that fucking attention. And, the reason why I want to talk about this is because a lot of people are looking at this as a negative thing. Oh shit, everyone's gunning for Kieth Thurman. Oh fuck, he's got a target on his back. Someone's going to knock this fool out. And the way I'm thinking about this is actually a good thing, not just for the sport, but for Kieth Thurman for his career. And now he knows that he's got attention. He's got the attention of other fighters. He's got the attention of fighters from other promoters. He's got people that are willing to take the risk. They want to get their hands on those 2 belts. And they, whether or not they believe they can beat Kieth Thurman pretty much has a route, right now, where he can, all roads could end to Kieth Thurman. Just like Floyd Mayweather was for the division. Kieth Thurman can be that. He has to be taking advantage of this opportunity that he has right now. I think this opportunity can go away if he fucks around and doesn't take advantage of it. But knowing that he's coming back from surgery, I think that's definitely something that boxing fans have to keep in mind. Really, boxing fans don't have to do shit. All they have to do is demand fights. That's your job. Demand fights. Make sure you get the fights you want. That's your job. You don't need any reasoning behind it, because you never know. Sometimes freak fights happen. But at the end of the day, as long as boxing fans are demanding the next fight, boxing lives on, right? So Kieth Thurman can really, really take advantage of this by being very careful and cautious, and know that there's an end goal, right? So regardless of what fights he takes on now, his big fight is Errol Spence. That's the fight that boxing fans want to see. He needs to be self-aware of what boxing fans want from him, right? They may not be his fans right now. They may not. But at the end of the day, he needs to act like a champion and eventually fight Errol Spence. It'll happen. I don't doubt it, right? But I also don't think that he needs to run into the ring and fight Errol Spence when the boxing fans start asking him to do it. He needs to do it when he's ready. By that I'm saying he needs to do it after he figures out if he's fully healed from his surgery. He's coming off of surgery. He took time off not because of personal reasons, but because of physical reasons. He's physically injured, and he had to take time off. He got surgery. He's recovering, and he needs to do it right. Walking into the ring and going all out just because the boxing fans are out there talking shit is petty. You're going to lose your career and lose those titles on petty reasons. You need to be smart. Be tactical. Fight someone that you know you can beat. Get yourself into. You need a win. Not for other boxing fans, but for yourself. As Kieth Thurman needs a win. He needs a win under his belt, a good win. He needs a tune-up. I think he deserves a tune-up. You know, he earned his titles. This isn't a fucking bum, right? He deserves a fucking tune-up. All the champions, all the great fighters took tune-ups. Yeah, so he deserves it, right? I wouldn't mind seeing him up against a popular name by the end of the year. And I wouldn't mind waiting for Errol Spence versus Kieth Thurman. As long as it's set up right. I would pay pay-per-view money for Errol Spence and Kieth Thurman. I would pay good money for that fight. I might even see it live if they just so happen to have it in Vegas. You know, that would be a great fight to watch. It's the best fight in the division. And they don't have to do it right away. They don't. They can play around. They can mess with the boxing fans. They can have Kieth Thurman say, you know what, he doesn't deserve it. Have him go back and forth. But hopefully, what they need to do in the meantime is get more fights under Errol Spence and Kieth Thurman. Kieth Thurman needs some tune-up fights. Errol Spence needs fights that give him experience. You know, he needs some shot-out fucking fighters that they're on their way out, but they're good fights. They're entertaining fights, and they keep people talking. He needs big knockouts. I don't mind build-up. I don't mind hype. And this is a good fight to hype up. But Kieth Thurman is in a great spot because he doesn't... Errol Spence right now is in a position where Kieth Thurman was, 3 years ago. Right? Trust me. Kieth Thurman right now, if Errol Spence beats Kieth Thurman and he wins those 2 titles, no one's going to be ducking Errol Spence. Everyone's going after Errol Spence. That's it. It's going to be very easy to find him a fight. And that's the way it is right now for Kieth Thurman. And Kieth Thurman is going to have to, I think, make sure that he's recovered 100% before he takes on Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, or any of the big names, any of the tougher fights. If he has to, do a rematch with Sean Porter. Fight Danny Garcia. He's talking that much shit. That'd be great. A lot of people feel that Devin Alexander beat Victor Ortiz. Fight Devin. Devin Alexander was supposed to be the guy to fight Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people were saying that he's the guy to do it. A lot of people have faith that Devin Alexander could give Floyd problems. Fuck it. I think he looked good against Victor Ortiz. I think he looked good. I mean, I wouldn't mind that fight either. It's a tune-up fight. I know this next fight is a tune-up. But, I don't know if boxing fans are that aware. I think they think that if I can guarantee you this. If Kieth Thurman... Kieth Thurman's next fight is going to be a tune-up. But I guarantee you that boxing fans are going to call it a cherry pick, knowing full and well the difference between the two, right? There's a cherry pick and there's a tune-up. The cherry pick is to avoid another fighter. The tune-up is necessary. It's part of the game. Part of the game. I think Kieth Thurman is in a good spot. He can make a lot of money. If he does this right, he can make a lot of money. He can get a fight with, maybe he might be able to bring back Kell Brook to 147. Maybe get a win over Kell Brook. You know, maybe fight. Who knows? Who knows what he could do? Fuck, man, do something. Go out there. Put your name out there. I wish these guys would have taken advantage of some of the fighters that are leaving. Like Miguel Cotto would have been a great fight for Errol Spence or Mikey Garcia, but they didn't take the fight. But whatever. We saw Mikey Garcia sit down with Kieth Thurman. I don't know if you guys saw this, but go check it out. It's online. It's on YouTube. You can see it. And they bring up Mikey Garcia calling out Kieth Thurman. And Kieth Thurman was like, hey, you know what? I've always been bigger than you. I've fought at higher weight classes than you, even in the amateurs. I saw you coming up, but, you know, I'm at welterweight. If you want to come up here, I'll be ready for you. And Mikey Garcia said, you know what? Yeah, when my body is ready, I'll go up to 147. But honestly, if you put an offer on the table, I'm going to consider it. If you put an offer on this table for the end of this year, I'll look at it. So, I mean, sitting down, that's not a personal conversation. You know, they're sitting down in front of media. Both Kieth Thurman and Mikey Garcia know that that's a chess match right there that they're having. They're trying to keep their composure. They're trying to look tough. But then again, they're not trying to give up too much because, hey, people are going to take it like it's the real thing. So Kieth Thurman's got to watch out. He can't just say, no, I'm not going to take the fight by the end of the year. Or he can't say, hey, let's fight. Because boxing fans are going to think it's official. So they played it really smart. They were going back and forth. Kieth Thurman was like, we'll see. Kieth Thurman was like, we'll see. Mikey Garcia is looking at fighting Lipinets. So it's not like it's going to happen real soon. But yeah. Kieth Thurman's in a good spot. He's in a really good spot right now. People are talking shit, but as long as he keeps fighting and he builds the Errol Spence fight, he can really take advantage of everyone coming after him because he's got 2 belts. He's got 2 belts. He's from Florida. He needs to get some attention. He needs to be doing some things, going out in his city, wherever he's from. He needs to be out there a little bit more, and he can be a huge draw worldwide. This guy's fun to watch. I was just watching his fight with Danny Garcia. I wanted to see what Danny Garcia was talking about when he was saying that, you know, he felt like he won the fight. And man, you know, I can't wait for Kieth Thurman to come back to the welterweight division. He's a beast. People just need to be reminded. What do you guys think? This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.